If you want to race your first triathlon, whether it's a sprint or Olympic distance, or if you've got aspirations of being a top 10 finisher or even a podium finisher, well, I'm here with Coach Toby, who's created the training programs for Race Boss. And Toby, I'd like to talk to you about what we've created with Race Boss and all the extensive training programs that we've put up. Firstly, what's the importance of having a training program?
Having structure is the main thing. Having something to follow each day. So we take the thinking out of it for you. So you wake up, you have a look at what's on the program, you go through and go, okay, this is what I need to do today.
Fantastic.
This is what I need to do the next day. And we keep rolling through that way. So it's about just keeping it simple for you, pretty much.
Excellent. Excellent. And I guess they really just keep you on track every single day, don't they?
They do, and there's a bit of accountability in there as well. So, depending on which level you take out, will depend on how intense the sessions are going to be to how easy they'll, not easy, but they're still going to give you that flow to, the ultimate goal is to get you to that race day.
Excellent. And I guess for a lot of people, everybody has different goals.
Exactly.
Achieving different goals. And, for example, the beginners, their main goal really is just to finish.
Exactly. And the thing is, the race day is the fun part.
Yeah.
It's the training we have to do leading into, which is always the hard yards you have to do. But as you get through that, whether it's a 12-week program or 16-week program, so we got there, it's just getting through what you need to do on the program, and then by the time you get to race day, you should be ready to race like a boss.
Yeah, certainly. And I'll tell you what, nothing beats that feeling when you turn up on race day and you're feeling prepared, you're excited, nervous, got the butterflies in your tummy as you're just about to start, or probably for me, the most nervous I am is when I'm in transition, making sure my bike's okay. Now, one of the things that obviously that I find with particularly the programs that you've created is that certainly not overtraining, it's specific training for the person's ability and the distance. Why is that?
Well, need to be smart. That's the thing.
Yes,
the way training is these days. If you're smart and you get through, you slowly improve each week and keep going through. We avoid injury. That's the main thing. And the goal to get to the race is to get there without any hiccups. And sometimes that does happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen. But if we train smart and we get to race day, it becomes a lot easier, and you'll enjoy the experience a lot more.
Excellent, fantastic, and yeah, definitely will be racing like a boss, won't you, Toby?
Exactly, mate. And as we say, that's the fun part, getting on that start line, and whatever goal it is and whatever you want to achieve, everybody's going to be different on the day. So for some people, it might be just getting to the start line. For others, it might be getting in there and finishing the race in a position that they want to finish in. But at the end of the day, it's a challenge for yourself, and it's challenging yourself against yourself. And if there's a few mates on the side, you're always going to have a bit of fun with them if they're in the race as well.
It's always fun.
It is.
Now let's talk about the actual Race Boss plans themselves. Now, we've created plans across every distance, being sprint, Olympic, 70.3 and your Ironman distances, but also beginner, intermediate and advanced people in each of those distances. Firstly, let's talk about the detail in the programs, because that's one of the things, I've seen all the programs that are available on the internet. But what really strikes me is just how detailed these are. It's almost like I'm in your training squad.
Yeah, well, virtually what I've done is over 13 years of coaching and then racing, 10 years as a junior and also a professional. We've been able to tailor programs that I do with my guys through the Sunshine Coast Tri Academy. So what we're trying to do is give that information out to other people that aren't lucky enough to live here on the Sunshine Coast, and we're blessed where we live. And we've got some really good training environments and that with what we've got with the squad. So if you're unfortunate and you can't do that, well then this is what we've detailed together in a program. So virtually what you see in these programs is what our guys and what our athletes, our guys and girls are doing on a daily basis within the training environment with Sunshine Coast Tri Academy.
Fantastic, and I certainly know he knows his stuff because he's trained 9 world champions and 21 world champion medalists, and a massive list that goes on from there of achievements. But also, you train kids from as young as, about 5 or 6,
5,
all the way through to, what's your eldest member?
She's 65, 66 years of age.
Fantastic. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, right through the whole thing.
So you really have experience across everything.
Yeah, exactly. And the joy I get of seeing a little 5-year-old running around, not particularly racing, but just getting out there and enjoying what triathlon is all about. To our elite guys that are winning races and that stuff too. to our just an age group that's come in as a beginner and come through and done their first try.
Yeah.
You get the same amount of achievement out of each of that and joy that you see of what our athletes are able to achieve.
Fantastic. Now, let's talk about the difference between beginner, intermediate, and advanced. The first thing when people go onto the website raceboss.net, they'll basically choose their distance, but then they choose their ability. What's the difference between the three?
Okay, so we start off with our beginner, and beginner is exactly what we say, beginner. It's
Yeah.
about getting into the sport and enjoying it and having a goal of participating in an event and finishing that event. So those programs are purely designed to get you to the start line and to finish the race.
Yeah.
You're not going to achieve greatness out of those programs, but that's the aim, is just to get you to that start line and enjoy that first experience of doing a triathlon.
Pretty fun.
It is, it's fun, and it's good. You're going to get just as nervous as what our regular athletes do on a regular day, but probably a little bit more nervous. But it's about getting to that race day and enjoying that experience of doing their first ever triathlon. Then we move into our intermediate programs, which is purely, you've done your first triathlon, you want to progress that a little bit further in the sport and that kind of stuff, and your goals change, you want to be a little bit more competitive and go along those lines, and that's what that intermediate program is about. And then we roll into our advanced program, which is you want to lift up to that next level. You want to try and get that top 10 in your age group, to aspirations of getting onto the podium, well, then that's that program for you.
Okay, perfect. Now, I also noticed that apart from the different distances, for every distance and every ability, we've also created base plans. Can you explain to me what the base plans are for?
So base plan is virtually, what we do is it's an 8-week program, and it virtually gets you from being, if you haven't done anything for a while, it's virtually just to get you off the couch, get you going again, get you moving for that 8 weeks, and then virtually at the end of the 8 weeks, we start that next program. So if it's a sprint distance or Olympic, we're looking at 12 weeks.
Yes.
If it's 70.3 and Ironman, we're looking at 16. So it's just pretty much a prelude to get you going for that next program. And the aim is to get you fit enough to be able to start that program without getting injured in that next block that we're going to do.
Perfect. Now, I guess to sum up Race Boss and the programs that you've created, it's all about starting now, training smart and racing clever.
Exactly.
Perfect. There you go. Coach Toby for raceboss.net.